There we go. And this quiz this week, I believe it was, as you probably noticed, it dealt with the CCA manual, which was the intent, because I wanted us to focus on our procedures and our mechanics, our signals. And then our results this week actually were really good, really good. The scores range from 90 to 100. And there were only 2 participants who scored 90 on the quiz. And both of those were 2 of the young guys, Brian and Corey. Brian Appleby and Corey. So yes, but I'm happy that they're participating. All right. Here we go. Let's get started. The first question on the quiz was the primary official should have the only whistle when a foul or violation occurs in their primary. When the primary official does not have a whistle on a foul or violation that is obvious, and you notice that obvious is capitalized, then another official should make the call when it occurs in their secondary. And the answer was true. And our reference is CCA Manual 1.4, page 16. Let me pull that up for us real quick. Yes. And it's under court coverage and positioning fundamentals. 1.4. And it's highlighted right there. The primary official should have the only whistle when a foul violation occurs in the primary. When the primary official does not have a whistle on a foul or violation that is obvious, then another official should make the call when it occurs in their secondary. Would someone mind defining obvious for the group?
I don't know the Webster's dictionary, but when everybody knows it was a foul or a violation, or a foul, I guess in this case.
Okay, good.
A whistle, foul violation.
Was that Isis chiming in?
Yeah, Granny up in the top of the stadium needs to have seen it, and it needs to be necessary for the crew, and the game needs to need it.
Right, right. Yes, it has to be illegal. It can't be incidental contact. It can't be, I think it's a foul, or I think they travel. No, it has to be clear and obvious to where it meets all the criteria. And no matter how you look at it on video, it is there. All right. And I actually have a couple of videos that we're going to take a look at tonight that exemplify this question. All right, let's go to question number 2. Thank you guys for the answers. When the dribble drive play originates and leads primary, I want you to visualize that. When the dribble drive play originates and leads primary, the lead will be responsible for primary coverage of the primary defender, and C and trail officials will share primary responsibility for the help defenders based on who has an open look at the play. So think about it. You're in lead, and there's a drive that's below free throw line extended. That's players is kind of oriented toward the sideline, and they drive toward the lane. So it originates in your primary, and so you have that primary defender. And this is why trail and center have to stay engaged and connected so that they can locate that help defender. And not just find the help defender, but you need to know where the help defender came from, where she originated, and where she ended. And was she in legal guard position prior to contact? That's why we stay connected. That's why we stay engaged. And that's why we don't, just because the play is not in a primary, we don't relax. We keep working. And that reference is CCA Manual 1.4.A.4 on page 18. We had a good conversation about cadence whistle this weekend. Number 3, a cadence whistle is the timing or rhythm of the whistle in an official's secondary coverage area. And that reference is CCA Manual 1.4.A.7, page 20. Let me pull that up. page 20. Here we go. Cadence. It's timing and rhythm. Timing and rhythm. And it's in your secondary. So let's walk through. What does a cadence whistle sound like? We have a clear understanding of when we have a whistle of a play in our primary. That's pretty simple. We have a foul in your primary. It's contact whistle. Contact whistle. A cadence whistle, where we have to have the timing and the rhythm down to where it's in our secondary. And let's go back to what we covered in the previous question. When we see contact that is illegal and obvious, and it's in our secondary, we can't have a primary whistle on the contact, which is contact whistle. No, we have to have a cadence whistle, which is contact, no whistle, then whistle. So yes, you have to ensure that you have to give your partner ample opportunity to pick up the play in their primary if they see it. If they see it. If not, our whistle, it's almost similar to what used to be called a late whistle back in the day. And it's at the point where we have contact, no whistle, and the player has to be almost getting up off the floor. Then we have a secondary whistle, a cadence whistle. Because what that communicates everything to everybody. It communicates that, yes, I know it's not in my primary, it's in my secondary. I'm aware that my partner was not in a position where they could see it. They did not have a great look at it. So I'm going to assist on the play, and the timing of my whistle will communicate that to everyone. Any questions on that?
Do you still call a cadence whistle if it's in your primary, but you're waiting to see if the play develops and whether or not you call a foul or not? Is that called a cadence whistle too? I mean,
Nope.
I'm old school, so I call a late whistle.
Right.
But
no, here, and that's why I love this conversation. No, if it's a play in your primary, no, you have a primary whistle. Yep. And I understand I have to be careful how I say this.
I know.
Yes. Everyone who's known me for a while, I never, and there are very few things in life I say never to, because there are always exceptions, right? But I never use the term that everyone has become so accustomed in to using when it comes to plays. What they say, watch the play start, develop, finish, and then you make a decision, blow your whistle, right? Okay. I know where they're trying to what they're trying to communicate with that, but it's not detailed enough. Yes, we need to see the entire play. We need to see the entire play from beginning to end. Because generally, if we don't see the entire play, we're going to miss an element that may have a factor in our decision making. So yeah, see the entire play. If it's a play in your primary, there's no reason to wait. If it's illegal contact, put air in your whistle. I'm going to say that again. If it's illegal contact, put air in your whistle. Okay. Whether they score or not is secondary. It's irrelevant. If they still score, great. We shoot free throws. If they don't, we shoot free throws anyway. So yes, if it's illegal contact in your primary, put air in your whistle. And I really do try hard to stay away from the usual cliches and acronyms that everyone uses, because after a while it just becomes kind of cliche-ish and everybody says it all the time and it doesn't apply to everything. And we get to the point where we start saying these things without actually thinking about them and breaking them down, defining them, and make sure it applies to the situation at hand. So yes, see the entire play. Is it illegal contact? Put air in your whistle. You do that, you'll be just fine.
Wait, just out of curiosity, will we be calling fouls in our secondary this weekend or no? That's so I can get my mind right when I work tomorrow and
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay. First of all, you know what ISIS is really saying? She's trying to find out. She's trying to determine if there's going to be any burpees involved this weekend or
Yeah,
not.
I'm trying to get my mind right.
So this weekend, since this is this is an assessment event, you're being assessed on your current state of where you are in officiating. So yes, we will work the games like real games in your primary, secondary, the whole nine. Yeah, we will work this weekend because you will be assessed on every facet of officiating. And so
Okay,
no, there will be no burpees this weekend.
perfect.
You say no burpees?
No burpees this weekend.
Oof, good. I like.
You know, unless something happens that I just have to get everybody's attention, I might have to incorporate it.
No,
But
this is
as of right now,
recorded.
we don't have
recorded.
any plan.
This is recorded. We have evidence.
It's recorded for evidence.
That's right.
All right, here we go. Question number 4. Drives originating from the C position to the basket. And let's visualize that. You're in C, and the play originates in C's primary. The C is responsible for the primary defender, or B, once the primary defender is beaten, the C will continue to officiate the defender from the backside, or C, the lead will have primary coverage responsibilities for refereeing the help defender, or D, the trail, the T, should move 1 to 2 steps onto the floor and stay connected to the help defender. A, B, and C are all the above. And yes, the answer is all the above. And your rule reference is CCA Manual 1.4.A.5.A through D. And that is located on pages 19 through 20. 19 through 20. Question number 5. When the double whistle unnecessarily occurs in one official's primary, it is immediately recognized and officials are confident that they have the same calls. The call is taken by the official with the first whistle. True or false? And yes, the answer to that is false. It doesn't matter whose whistle occurs first. That the reference is CCA Manual 3.4.7.C on page 128. When we have a double whistle, and it's in one of our primaries, how do we determine who's going to take it to the table?
The person whose primary it's in will take it to the table.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am. And that is provided we have the same call on the same player. We get into contacts by 2 different players, 2 different matchups. That's different. That's a completely different conversation. But when it's the double whistle on the same player in one partner's primary, that official would take it to the table. ISIS is correct.
Wayne, where do you most often see this? Because I visualize this where this would be a case where you have a dribble drive in the center's PCA that's going to the basket, and you're getting very close to where that's going to be leads as you get closer to the middle of the free throw area.
Correct. That's one example of when it can occur, when it comes close to crossing that imaginary dotted line in the middle of the lane, when it transitions from C's primary to leads. Also, it happens quite a bit on plays that are transitioned from trail to C. When it's crossing the line of division between trail and C, which is that lane line extended all the way to the division line, and a matchup it's a matchup, it's crossing over, or when the defenders switch right when it's about to or at the line of intersection or just crosses the line of intersection. Because we know that as partners, when we have ownership of a matchup in our primary and trail, and it's transitioned to C's primary, we're not, when it crosses the line of intersection, we're not just going to dump it on C. No, we're going to hand it off, just like a relay race, like hand off a baton. We're going to hand it off. When our partner gives us some indicator that they've taken ownership of that matchup, we hand it to them, and then we shift our eyes back to our next competitive matchup or back to our primary. Okay. So, and that's when it happens when it's crossing, because it could be in the middle of a handoff and we both just happen to be looking at it at the point of contact. And so that's when we'll have double whistles. Double whistles in those circumstances are perfectly fine because we have to play covered. What's worse is when we get so concerned about having double whistles that we try our best not to, that we release the play too soon. So visualize it, you're in trail, the matchup is approaching the line of intersection, and because we're trying not to stay on the play too long, we release it before the center picks it up. And in that moment, when we release it, we take our eyes off of it, so your center has not picked it up, that's when we have that legal contact, and that's when we have no whistle. And we could have a turnover, which is possession consequence, out in the middle of the floor where everybody sees it. Okay, so yes, double whistles in those circumstances are perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Good question, Jeff.
I have a question, and this may be something that we would just revisit at the end if we have a few minutes, but I know this would never happen in our games because we're all going to blow and hold. But if we have a large situation, what is the proper procedure in women's college? Like what will we do to fix it?
Great question. For those of you who you know what, because I honestly do not remember exactly what the procedure is in high school. And I do know in men's, they report both. They report both fouls. NCAA college women's basketball, we do not report both fouls. We come together and we will determine which one occurred first. And I know it could be a block charge, right? And we're thinking, well, they both had to happen at the same time or close to simultaneously, right? We will have a conversation and we will determine which foul occurred first. And we'll come back and we will replay, revisit the play, and we'll identify, first of all, whose primary was it in. That may determine who takes it to the table, which call we go with, who's primary. But we're not reporting both fouls. Yes, sir.
High school, you report both.
Okay, that answers my question. Yep. So in high school, we report both. College men, they report both. College women, no. We determine which one occurred first, and that's the one we report to the table. Does that answer your question, Isis?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Hey, Wayne, real quick.
Yes,
you mentioned on the previous question about if you have a double whistle, you yield to the primary unless you have an offender that's different from what the primary has. How would you communicate that in that space of time?
Great. Another good question, man. You guys are full of great questions tonight. We have the understanding of how these plays develop, right? And we know that if I'm your partner, Doug, and this play is transitioning into your primary, but I have a foul on a different player than your foul. I know your foul is on white 23, but my foul is on white 15 on the other side. And I know my contact happened right before yours. So then and our whistles go off almost simultaneously, almost at the same time, because both contacts are pretty close, right? But when I know that my foul was first, I will verbalize first foul at the spot. You hit it? First foul. And that communicates to everyone that we had two contacts. And we're going to put whistle on we're going to adjudicate the first contact. So yes, first foul. And it's similar to when we have a violation and foul occurring at approximately the same time. If we have a violation that happens right before contact and we know the violation is first, we can communicate that at the spot. Violation first, because we know we have contact, we know we have a foul, and we have an open hand, closed hand, right? So yes, let's communicate it at the spot. And it's immediate, there's no hesitation. Violation first. First foul. And take it to the table.
So a good example of that would be player driving, beats primary defender. So we'll say trail stayed with the primary, lead takes secondary defender, primary defender from the back comes and pushes the offensive player, which the lead did not see. So the lead is about to blow a player control foul.
Yes,
then that's when the trail would come in and say first foul, push first.
correct. Exactly. Exactly. And that keeps everything straight and everybody understands that process. Yes, sir. Good.
And a lot of times that will happen because you will see that contact either from the T or the C before before either the block charge that the lead would be picking up.
That is correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely correct. All right. Question number 6. Really good question. When the ball is under pressure or trapped in the front court near the division line on C side, once again, let's visualize this. The ball is under pressure, there's a trap. We're in the front court, it's near the division line, but it's high in C's primary. Well, what will we do? A, the lead will initiate the rotation prior to the trail being in the front court. Or B, the C will not wait for the lead to initiate the rotation, but will immediately recognize the trap or ball pressure at or near the division line and move up to referee to play. So we call this facilitating a rotation. Or C, the trail needs to move field to the front court, find a lane of vision to referee the competitive matchups, and assume the C position when this occurs. Or D, all the above. And yes, the answer is D, all of the above. And our rule reference is CCA Manual 3.3.2.C.4 on page 72. So once again, let's visualize this. And a lot of times we allow ourselves to be hampered by our 3-person mechanics, okay? And simply because you're in C and there's a matchup high in your primary, and simply because lead has not rotated yet, we're not as free, we don't feel as free to position adjust high to referee that matchup. That's in our primary toward the division line. First and foremost, the thing that supersedes everything is finding an open look on a competitive matchup with the ball. You go where you need to go to referee, okay? And then we can make adjustments after that. If you're in C and you have a trap high in your primary toward the division line, no, you get up there and you referee. That's in, let me rephrase this, it's in the front court. In the front court. You go where you need to go to referee, and you facilitate the rotation because when you go high to referee, you're actually pulling your lead with you. Lead is going to come with you. Now, if you're in trail, this is when you get on your horse and you sprint down the floor to fill in. And no, we do not have to wait for trail to be in the front court before we initiate this rotation. C can facilitate, pull your lead over. Trail will get on their bike and they will accelerate and they will get down the floor and they'll fill into C. And we can maintain our court coverage discipline even with C facilitating that rotation. Because the most important thing is we need to go where we need to be to officiate the play, to make sure we maintain our coverage correctly and we get the play right. All right, any questions about that? Good, good. All right, question number 7. Front court coverage on drives originating from trail towards center. We kind of mentioned this already. Visualize this also. The play starts in trail's primary and is driving towards C's primary. A, C is responsible for the play. When there are multiple defenders, the C will officiate the primary defender and the lead will officiate the help defenders. These can be dual coverage plays. B, when a player with the ball curls towards an official, that official should make the necessary call. Or C, all the above. Our rule reference is CCA Manual 1.4.A.1 through 2 on page 16. So once again, let's visualize this as a play that's about to exit trail's primary, heading towards C's primary, and generally it's right around that elbow area. And there's multiple defenders. C will pick up that primary defender, and lead will extend their vision and can help and can assist with the help defenders. And that helps us to have complete coverage on this play that is changing primaries, transitioning primaries. So the play remains covered. And here's the other piece. And this is no matter where you are on the floor, and we have to become very adept at officiating curl plays. And this is when you can have a primary whistle on a play in your secondary. When the play curls towards you, let's visualize it. Let's say that you're in C, sideline oriented, and there's a matchup in the post and leads primary right above the low block. And that player curls around the defender toward the middle of the lane towards C. Technically, she is still on lead side of the lane, on the other side of the imaginary dotted line, but she curls towards C, and there's a defender on this side of the body that only C can officiate because it's coming towards C. Technically, it's lead's primary, but we understand with the system that we operate within, that lead has no look, cannot see point of contact. Trail has no look. And as it's curling towards you, you have the best look. You have a primary look on this play. So then, yes, go ahead and pick it up, take ownership of it, and put air in your whistle if there's illegal contact, because it curled towards you. Any questions?
The only comment I was going to make is, yeah, it's not just that. I think visualizing also, seeing a lot of dribble handoffs, a lot of high screens in this situation.
Yes.
Also apply, especially if you're going to get that any help maybe from trail on that handoff or on the screen.
Correct. Because generally those handoff screen, there are multiple players involved, correct? And also let's remember that on any screening action, we have two sides to the screen. We have a front side and a back side. So it is a crew play. We need team officiating so we can get both sides of the screen. All right, number 8. Speaking of screening, in screening situations involving as many as 4 to 6 players at the elbow and free throw line area, boy, we just talked about that. This is a 2 official play that will need coverage by the trail and the center officials. True or false? The answer is true, and we just discussed it. And our rule reference is CCA Manual 3.3.2.J.1 on page 80. Boy, I love it when things just come together.
That was entirely accidental.
Entirely. And no, we did not plan that. All right, number 9. If the trail's home position is the 20-foot line, yes, that says if. If the trail's home position is at the 20-foot line, 1 to 2 steps off the sideline, true or false? And the answer to that is true. That is our dependable starting position. That's where we like to start our possession in trail, at the 20-foot line, 1 to 2 steps off the sideline. From that position, we can position adjust in multiple directions, depending upon how the play evolves. We have options. We put ourselves in difficult situations, or we limit our views on plays, we limit our abilities to adjust on plays when we do not get to our dependable starting position, and we have a tendency to stay too high behind the play. Then as that play evolves, whether it's a drive toward the basket, because where do all offenses want to go? They want to go to the basket and score. That's where they're going. So we need to get there so we can officiate it. Or if we have screening action, handoff screens, we have screens on moving players, blind screens. We need to be in position so we can position adjust prior to contact, find that open space, then we can adjudicate the contact, whether it's legal or illegal. When we're out of position, and I've been saying this for a while, a lot of times when we miss plays, it's not at the point of contact, it's earlier in the possession. We started out of position, so at the point of contact, we're not in the correct position to adjudicate the contact. So yeah, let's get there, and then we can adjust from there. All right, and that rule reference, by the way, is CCA 3.3.2 G is in Gary, dot 1 on page 77. All right. Let's head over to question 10. Let me get over here. There we go. All right. Question number 10. On a strong side passing crash play down the lane, visualize this once again, strong side, right? That's between trail and lead. The trail will be responsible for the ball. The lead will referee the defender. True or false? That is true. Our rule reference is CCA 3.3.2, H as in Harry, .2, page 79. So let's visualize this. And this is something we should cover in every pregame before every game. How are we going to handle pass and crash? And this play happens more than we realize when we have that drive. It could have even originated in Trail's primary. And it's a drive toward the lane. And we have the help defender slide over. And we have the crash. But she kicks the ball out to the corner. And if we don't discuss pass and crash in our pre-games, we're not going to have a process in place on who's going to go with the pass to the corner and who's going to stay with the contact of the crash in the lane, because they're both in lead's primary. And by habit, if we're not careful, when that pass is kicked out to the corner and lead's eyes immediately go with it, we take our eyes off that potential crash that's right in front of us. So that's why we have to pregame this with an understanding that when we have that drive toward the lane and we have a pass and a potential crash, lead will stay with that potential contact and referee that play. Trail will then will take the pass out to the corner, because we have options on that. First of all, trail is wide enough that they can see the player in the corner catch it and take the shot, whether she's behind the three-point arc or not. They can pick up a defender who's closing out on that shooter from trail. Our trouble area, our potential action area, is that crash that happens after the pass. We need to know, was that crash illegal? We need to know, was that defender, had she obtained initial legal guarding position prior to the crash? We need to know, is the contact is incidental? Did she slide off of her, and did the defender embellish? If we take our eyes off of that potential crash, then we're having to try to pull it together, and we don't have as clear a decision as we would if we stayed with it. So you stay with it from beginning to end. If they go to the floor, we have a decision, make the decision, and you wait till they come off the floor before we go report a foul. Either way, offensive or defensive foul. Does anyone have any questions about that? Is everyone going to make sure they cover pass and crash in the pre-games moving forward? Well, I should have got a great big amen on that.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. That was question number 10. Like I said, we did really well on this quiz this week, and it was really mechanics and procedures based out of the CCA manual. And because I really wanted us to get into our CCA manual and dig and really become accustomed to reading and visualizing and internalizing this information, because this is what tells us what to do when we're on the floor. Now, like I said, I have a couple of clips I'm going to share with you guys that are examples of court coverage. Here's the first one. It's going to occur on the other end of the floor. I've shared this clip with some of you already, but we're about to play it again. Boop. There we go. All right. And the contact is going to occur on the other end of the floor. Let me get situated here. There we go. Here we go. I'm going to play it all the way through, and then we'll play it again. We noticed that Terrell had a whistle on the play, correct? Whose primary did the contact occur in?
Lead.
Lead's primary. And from this angle, does there appear to be any illegal contact?
No.
No, there doesn't, right? Let's go to the second angle. I'm going to ask you two questions. Did defender ever obtain initial legal guard position? And did the defender cause the contact? As you can see the A to B movement of the defender, A to B, which causes the contact, and she never obtained initial legal guard position. Play it again. In understanding how our system is built to work, everyone was disciplined. Let's walk through this. The crew was disciplined. Lead's primary, correct? Can lead see point of contact?
No.
Can C see point of contact?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely. I think he can. It looks to me like he's he could see the help defender coming over.
You can
And
see
he
the help
could
defender
see-
coming over.
He could see that she was A to B.
He's
I
looking right at
believe.
it. He's looking right at it.
He's
Yep.
looking right at it. Where is the contact?
In front.
The right knee.
Let's be specific. Where is the contact?
In the torso. I have the
Correct.
torso and
The front.
and lower left lower leg.
Correct. It is the front of the offensive player's torso and the front of the defender's torso or hip, correct?
Yep.
So can we actually see those two meet points?
Nah, from the C, no.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. Correct. We can't see point of contact.
Do we have a trail view, or is this the only view you have?
Oh,
I don't see a contact at all in either of those videos.
Yeah, I would think the trail is stacked by the defender that's
Ooh.
behind.
That's
Let's
number,
find
number
out.
number 13. That looks like she got her first before she hit the girl in legal guarding position.
Let's find out.
Because on this angle from the baseline here,
Here's your trail. There's the space on the other side of 13.
oh yeah, no contact.
No contact at 13. There's a space on the other side. Trail is looking through that space. You can see 28 stepping forward. And where's the point of contact? Torso to torso.
Oh,
That's
Wayne,
right there, correct?
I think
Below
wow.
the waist.
Okay.
If any.
I don't see it.
Oh no, I see the A to B, but
Yeah.
I don't see. I think 13 is blocking the trail.
Definitely.
Trail was looking right behind 13. Could see 28 move from A to B at the point of contact. Let's play it again.
The trail can't see that space either.
Man, I wish we had the camera behind Trail. Boom. Because Trail's eyes, get over cursor, is on the backside of 13, sees 28 move forward, and there's the contact right there. If you had a line from between these two players, from right here directly to Trail, they have the only look at this play. The only look.
Am I the only one that thinks that 13 is the one that gives her the contact that then displaces The ball
Yes.
handler.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh,
I
that's much.
I had 13 with nothing, but I definitely have
Right.
20. I definitely have 28 A to B.
Correct.
That's
13.
nothing.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
hang on. Excuse me. So, did you just say you believe Trell had the open look and should have had that call?
Yes.
Uh, so just out of curiosity, isn't this the new teaching? Like, is that not like, am I mistaken?
The new teaching. Let's be a little bit more specific.
Is that not the new play that they've been wanting us to call for the last year?
For the last
And
year. Yes.
okay,
Yep.
just I want to make sure that I was on the same page as you.
Yep.
Thanks.
You 100% correct. We have to understand that we may be the furthest official from a play, but we may have the best look on that play. And that's why we have to stay connected and engaged so that we can pick up the movement of the defender. We can determine if she in legal guard position or not. And we also determine where the contact occurred. I love this play. This is a great play.
Dang, Wayne, you should have told that guy that was in Oklahoma yesterday that missed those 3 from the trail. I don't know why you didn't tell him that.
Hey, some of us on board, some of us takes longer. Some of it takes longer. It does. But this is an example of number one, eye discipline. Where are we focused? Do we pick up the defender? Can we see the space? Can we see point of contact? Do we understand the system we're operating within? Because the big picture is the crew implemented the system the way that it was built to work. If you can't see point of contact, you have to understand that I have no call on this play, with an understanding that one of my partners will have a better look than I do.
Even though
It takes discipline.
even though it's secondary defender. Now, should that whistle, I couldn't hear when the whistle went off, but was that a cadence whistle or was that a point of contact whistle?
It was a cadence whistle.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. Really good question. And this is the crew trusting the system, operating within the system. Because we don't guess. Some of you, let me go to the next clip. Some of you went through in the camp this past weekend, went through what was it? A guess, mess, confess. Is that what that was?
Yes.
Wayne, I'll call that guy from yesterday though, and I'll let him know instead of swallowing his whistle, he's supposed to blow the whistle. Oh, look at those shirts.
Love that shirt, don't you?
Hey, look at there.
Hey, what did I tell you, Kevin? What did I tell you? You had to do a couple more burpees?
Never mind.
Okay, here's our next play. And this was not is not as obvious either. And I'll play it again. Oop, get out of the way, cursor. And this time we will have an angle, I believe, from Trail's position. Boom. Let's play it again. Here's the contact right here. On the inside, on the elbow. Lead cannot see that contact. C can't see the contact. Trail has the best look at that contact, looking through the lane as that player attacks the basket.
Now this one to me is more obvious that the trail can see through that.
Yeah.
The first one, I'm still not a believer that the trail could see that. I think she saw the A to B, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sold that she saw the contact.
That's fair.
But that's yeah, that is a perfect angle right there that she
Yeah.
can see.
She can
Or
see
I didn't.
right through. Correct.
But that's not the angle that the trail's got. The trail's got more to the left of that camera. I'm not saying that
It's a similar angle.
trail got it. But trail's got to be 110% sure because she's making that call from almost 40 feet away.
Mm.
Why
And
does
going back to our question earlier, when you're
28
making
foot
a
mark.
call, your secondary has to be what?
Absolute obvious.
Obvious. Correct.
why do
Hang on, can I-
WNBA trails stand at half court?
What was that again?
I said, why do WNBA trails stand at half court?
Mhm.
I can't answer that one. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever saw that teaching.
I haven't. But there might be an exception or reason if they're at half court. There has to be
Even
a
in
reason. I
even in
know
the other
in
clip,
general, on average,
you
they're
couldn't
not.
even see the trail in the clip.
Hang on. So just out of curiosity, with that play, I'm a little baffled. I don't understand how the league does not call that,
No.
and you're saying trail does.
Here, let me help you out. I can help answer that. Come on, a little bit quicker, Wayne. A little bit quicker. Because the contact is here. On the inside of the body, on the outside of her right elbow. Lead is here and cannot see through body parts. And this is what I'm trying to get us to understand. It's not just that we see but what looks like contact. The question is, do you see the actual point of contact? If we're asked, where did the contact occur? Could we say yes, right below the right elbow? The defender hit her with her middle two fingers.
So you're saying just because you see the arm move, if you can't see the point of contact, you really can't call it.
You cannot call it. Correct. You cannot call it because we're guessing and we don't actually see the contact. Now, on this play, yes, the ball goes off. It definitely appears that there's contact, but we have to trust the system that we operate within understanding that this contact is on the right elbow, just below the right elbow on the inside, opposite to where lead is. And C has no look at it. They can see the swipe, but can they actually see the contact? And this is another example of where Terrell happens to be looking right down the lane through the players and can actually see the contact. Does that help, Faye?
I mean, I understand, but everyone knows at the higher level, that's where the most of the contact occurs. That's primary defender, so I don't understand how. I don't know. I understand, but I don't understand. I don't understand how she didn't call it, but that's just me. But I understand what you're saying.
Right. Well, because she can't see it.
What if there was no call here? We missed. They missed
Then
it.
we missed it.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we miss it. Yep. Because we don't guess. The way that our system is built, we should have very, very, very few instances where we're having to guess on plays, especially in front court, half court sets. Now, like I say that with the clear understanding that there are always exceptions. Always. There are always exceptions, always atypical plays. There are always layers to plays that we have to decipher. Yeah, but these two are pretty straightforward. And that's just trusting the system. Faye, I'm gonna let it percolate with you, and then we'll revisit it. After you've had time to turn it over 3 or 4 times.
My answer ain't gonna change. I just got good eyesight like that. That's all.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, this is good. This is really, really good. Hey, any questions about anything we've covered so far? And yes, I am removing everything off my screen for Kevin. Any questions before we break for the evening? Over the quiz, over the clips, over anything else, anything you experienced this weekend, anything?
Wayne, those clips that y'all just looked at, could you upload them in my drive folder, please, so I can look when I get home?
Matter of fact, I will load them in the quiz folder and I'll give everybody access.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's good. That's good stuff. All right, people. Well, quiz 6 will drop later tonight, probably while I'm watching the Thunder game. And it will be due by 5 p.m. Friday. A lot of you I will see this weekend, so we'll have a chance to get it done.
Wait, can we extend it to 9 p.m.?
Oh, that's right.
Please?
Hey, thank you for the reminder. Yes, we will extend it to 9 p.m. because somebody will be on a flight. No, 2 people will be on the flight. Okay? And they'll be flying in. So, yes, for both of you, we will extend it to 9 p.m. Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Hey,
welcome.
hey, Wayne, before we jump off, happy
Yes.
belated birthday, TC.
Happy birthday, TC.
Happy birthday, TC.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When was your birthday so I can write it down?
Oh, Friday,
Friday.
June
Okay.
6th.
June
Yeah.
Thank you.
6th.
Well, belated happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed your day.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. All right, folks. Hey, good session, great questions, great discussion. I love it. I love it. Hey, let's keep working, let's keep grinding, let's keep getting a little bit better every day. And when you all know this, you have a question about anything, just reach out and we'll chop it up.
Hey, Wayne, can you hang on for just a second? I have a question for you.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
thanks.
All right, folks. I will send everybody the summary of tonight's meeting. I will post this video, the recording, and the clips in the folder, and make sure I share with everyone. Okay.
All right. Thunder up. Kevin, we don't want to hear none of that Pacers mess.
Oh, I'm a Laker fan. Don't worry. I'm just hoping for a good basketball.
There it is.
I'm not a Pacer fan at all. I'm diehard LA everything.
Hey, that works for me.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
All right, you guys.
Have a great week.
Thanks,
All right,
Wayne.
you too.
Everybody keep an eye on the
Wayne.
weather too.
Yeah, keep an eye on the weather. Yes.
Hey, real quick, Wayne, I printed these manuals out. What inch binder do you have to keep your manuals in? Do you keep them all in the same manual or 3 separate books?
You know what? I wish I had where is it? Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. If you're gonna put all 3 of them together, yes, put them in a binder. And I
have all 3 of them in binders, but separately. So
yeah,
is that okay?
It's a pretty thick binder. Here, let me grab it real quick.
Okay. I don't know if it's a 3-inch binder or what. It's pretty big.
Yep, it's a 3-inch binder. Because what we used to do, TC would print off the rule book and the CCA rule book and the case book, and she would have them spiral bound at Kinko's.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a 3-inch binder, probably.
3-inch binder. If you're going to print off all 3 of them, yeah, it's going to take a 3-inch binder.
Okay, that's what I did. All 3. I just put them in 3 separate binders because I didn't have a 3-inch at home.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
That's what it takes, and
all right,
that way you always have everything with you.
Okay. Thanks.
Not a problem, brother. And I will see you Thursday.
Yeah. Are you sending out any more information, or is that one agenda got everything in it?
Oh no, we're sending out information tonight because there's some details that everyone needs to know. So yes, we will send that all out tonight. And there's some more information I'm going to receive from Coach Overton tomorrow regarding the game rules, camp format, and all of that I'm going to add to Linktree.
Okay.
So that gives you guys one spot to pull all your information from.
All right. Perfect. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother. Hey,
All right,
man,
thanks.
appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
take care, man.
Yep. Bye.